It's time for a cup of red, so let's fill your cup with rad pop culture vibes. And now your over-caffeinated hosts, Mike and Katie.
And here we are, another episode of Cup of Red. And this week is all about those little plastic bricks that make you say ouch when you step on them as a parent.
Or close to childbirth.
Sorry. Or the imagination tool that builds and grows upon you to create monumental displays that collect dust.
Very much so collect dust. They start out so colorful and then they turn nice fuzzy shades of gray.
Right. But what this is all about isn't about the brick itself, because if you really care about that, you'll go to a toy store and buy some, or you'll watch The Toys That Made Us.
Yes. Excellent.
What you're probably here for, more or less, is to talk about the Lego Movie.
Part 2, the second one.
So, usually, when a sequel comes out, we do a little bit of Rednesia!
Yes, we always like to prep ahead of time and just kind of remind ourselves about the franchise. It's a big thing. Gives us a chance to rewatch some of those, original starts for movies. But
we've watched this one on repeat, I think, almost.
So much. Our son loved it. Still does. We do. So we didn't even need to rewatch it.
No, I didn't feel like I had to rush out and rewatch the first one before we saw this, because as I say, we've seen it so much and we've seen it so much in the background.
Yeah. So for me, I loved this movie when it came out, for sure. And I still, obviously we say we rewatched it a whole bunch, we really can watch it over and over again. I love the way the characters are developed and the humor behind it. And most importantly, I love the unique idea that the surprise twist where it was a real life people and this kid working through a problem that he was having and using his imagination to work through that, and that it allowed him to, find a way to talk to his dad. And I thought that was a really unique way of showing how important toys are and imagination is for helping us with real world things, that it can be just fun and just silly and just entertainment, basically, but it also can really help us and be therapeutic. And I thought that was a really unique way for the story itself.
Yeah, it was a fantastic plot device that they were able to use with that, and to show the aging aspect. The father just wanted to keep it a model, glue it all together, blah blah blah. The son wanted to play with it, and how dare you want to do that? And the argument, and that's a continued clash. I've seen parents in the toy aisle tell their kids, "Oh, you should buy this, but don't open it."
Yeah, right.
We're at that point in society where everything's just keep it pristine and don't use it,
right?
Because it might be worth something.
Well, even for us, I mean, we don't keep things in boxes. We display them and everything, but we have a lot of just display stuff.
Yeah.
And it's no different than the Lego. It's built to display it. Mm-hmm. But Lego is one of those things, though, that we have always played with, even when we were younger, and we would buy Lego and we would still play with it.
Yeah.
But it's a battle sometimes with our son to remind him that no, he can still play with his toys. So it's an interesting concept in a different way, right?
Yeah.
But that how toys change for us and that type of thing, right?
Exactly.
So.
The first one had so much humor and it came at you so fast. It needed the rewatches because there was so many times where it was just like you were laughing and something else was happening.
Yeah. It's like, oh wait, I didn't hear that the first time around. Or did you see that in the background?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which was a really big surprise, because when that first movie came out, it was like, the Lego Movie? Really? They're making a Lego movie?
I remember that, yeah.
At first. But then when they dropped the trailer, which is like, oh my goodness, this is hilarious.
Right. Well, and then they just did such a good job with it, even with the Batman Lego as well. Mm-hmm. Really finding that humor and the way that Batman should be able to laugh at himself of being so serious, and that extremism that he is, and all the Easter eggs that were around it for comic fans.
Well, yeah, especially in the Lego Batman movie.
Yeah,
it was fantastic.
So they did a good job. So with it overall,
from that they crafted Ninjago, which I think wasn't as good as the other two.
Yeah.
The first time I watched it, I laughed pretty hard, but then second watch, I remember when we watched it, I was getting kind of bored.
Yeah.
So
it didn't capture the same magic that the first Lego movie had.
Yeah, or the Batman Lego.
Or the Batman with the humor idea. Because, I mean, I loved with the Lego movie itself, just the extreme positive aspect that Emmett was. You wanted him to be the special and be so, succeeding and everything, because he was just so happy.
Yes, exactly.
And that positivity, I think, that can be missing so much in a lot of things, right? So.
Oh, yeah, well, it was fun to see so many of those characters come together and show the crazy creations that they all had, especially, Unikitty with her, you know.
I love Unikitty. She's hilarious because she's so happy, and then just the insane amount of rage. She reminds me of Fluttershy, right? From My Little Pony.
Yeah.
She's just so demure and everything's positive, everything's happy, but you piss me off and I will destroy you. And it's hilarious.
Yeah.
So.
And then you've got the spaceship with Benny.
Yes.
That was just
Spaceship.
funny, you know.
Spaceship.
So definitely that movie really kind of, it just was bonkers.
Yeah, it was fun.
So in the Lego Movie 2, the second part,
See, it's just so much.
it's a tongue twister. It's like an in joke for them.
Yeah, right?
Haha, who can say that? When the trailers came out, I wasn't really sold on it. I was a little disappointed with it.
Well, I was disappointed with the choice of scene that they used to try to sell it with.
Well, yes, they were very much focused on making sure to do the women empowerment scene, where it was just like the helpless male.
Yeah, and that, I don't know, it bothered me because to me it doesn't matter whatever gender it is. It still bothered me in the movie.
Yeah.
Whatever gender it is, the leader, sometimes you have other people that actually do the work, and it had nothing to do with him being male or female. But that's my opinion on it.
I don't think at the time it captured our son's interest. It was one of those ones where he wanted to see it, but he never really pushed on it, which was odd.
Yeah, for him, it seemed more like the default, well, it's a Lego movie, of course we're going to go see it.
Yeah.
So he never even questioned it, and I think that's how we got to this weekend here, and we're like, well, maybe we don't go and see it, because we were still battling colds, and we weren't sure if he could focus, but then we really talked to him, he's like, no, I really want to see it, I don't want to wait. So
we
saw it.
Went and saw Lego Movie 2. We ran into a little bit of an issue with the movie because right now we're having extreme winds.
Yes.
Arctic outflow winds and all that. So if you hear weird
we're haunted.
The podcast is now haunted. There is a ghost in our microphone. But we had extreme cold winds blowing, and our projector kept shutting down in the theater we were in.
Yeah, because we were like, well, we have power, but the light would go out, the sound would keep going, and we found at the end it was overheating
because the vents kept blowing shut.
Yeah.
So they had to keep rebooting the projector. So we kind of like got to watch a lot of scenes twice.
Yeah.
We'd get to watch it, and then we get to hear it, then watch it. That, unfortunately, I think for me kind of took me out of the movie because I started getting a little
like, oh, this again.
Yeah.
It'll be exciting to watch it again.
Yeah. But first reaction for you with seeing the Lego Movie 2, the second part.
First reaction, I was pleasantly surprised to say I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I did laugh a lot more. I liked the story and the plot line behind it. Overall, I was happy with it. Did it capture the magic of the first one? Not so much, but I still was happy with the characters. They still were true to themselves, and I still enjoyed it. I liked the development of where it took it. What about you?
This is a hard one. I enjoyed it, but I wasn't floored by it. Even though we had the ups and downs because of the projector issue, it took a lot of time to get into it. It felt like.
Okay.
I don't really remember when I laughed first.
Well, you know what? It was like a really long time of wild style brooding. Mm-hmm. And that was overdone.
Yes.
The brooding and it was so dark and bleak and horrible and everything's just gone to ruin. Yeah. That did take a long time.
Yeah. And like I say, I don't...
It was what was the point of the movie type thing.
I don't remember when I first laughed, and that's kind of scary for myself. Yeah. For a movie that I have fondness of a franchise, remembering just laughing my ass off.
I laughed about his ordering coffee with 25 sugars. And coffee Unchained. I mean, but literally that's the only thing, and we already saw it anyway in the trailers.
Yeah. So there was that kind of disappointment, and that like, what is going on? Like is it supposed to be very cerebral and not really?
Right.
Are you supposed to like absorb it in and like, oh, that's the humor they're going with this time?
Yeah.
That's where I kind of felt.
Well, because I know our son enjoyed some of the silly. He's always loved Emmett, but I think he loved the silliness that Emmett has. I mean, that really he gravitated to that one because of his extreme imagination that Emmett has. has,
Yeah.
right? And so, you know, Emmett talks about houses and all this sort of weirdness that he described in his
waffle room,
the
and
waffle room, yeah.
trampoline room, and
So he liked that, and
Yeah.
that really pulled him in at first.
yeah. But see, for you also, you know, here's spoilers. There'll be spoilers throughout it, so
Yeah.
beware.
because we can try to keep some of it away.
But you have siblings, so there was some of that internal struggle that you could relate to more than
is
myself that
very
doesn't
true.
have siblings.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that is because I was even thinking about that for our son. And I'm like, he's not going to find that same, like, oh, okay, I could use that in the future idea because he's never going to have a sibling to have to worry about,
Yeah.
right? He's going to be able to relate more to the original story in the first one. Oh, well, no, let's be honest, he's not going to have to relate to it at all. But still, that it has a higher chance of it. But because he doesn't have a sibling, then he's not going to understand that struggle. And that movie definitely spoke to me because I had a younger brother. You know, 3-year difference was
Well, you
just
also
enough,
had
right?
had an older sister.
I did, yeah.
Which you
I do.
sorry. You also have an older sister that you could feel that same, like, hey, I want to play with you, I want to do things with you. So
Yes.
you could see it from both
See it
sides of the
both
coin.
ways, yeah.
Right?
My lovely middle child syndrome here, so I could just battle it all over the place. And yeah, exactly. It's a different take for you.
Yeah, and if you were a parent that had multiple children, you would see that same.
You're like, oh yeah, I can
struggle.
relate about that because they had to fight against this, and so yeah, it's definitely, that's a good point.
So, you know, there was a lot more music in this one,
Are we in a musical?
right?
Yes, you are.
I think that's honestly when the movie picked up for me.
Yes.
When it
Well, it got some of the silliness.
Yeah, and it got more silly again, less of the dark and brooding. But then you can tell then, okay, this movie's supposed to take place, 5 years later?
Yes.
So the idea that now the main kid is a teenager, basically, and he's got a younger sister, and that turmoil. So you can see that he's growing, and throughout the movie there was a lot more pop culture direct references.
From his version
Side.
of things,
They were direct. They were spoken pop culture more.
not implied.
Not implied or Easter egg feel.
You're right.
Right? Where it was
Yeah.
like, oh, haha, that's there. You know, suddenly Michelangelo's here and blah, blah. It was direct spoken references, which was quite a bit different.
And well, and it specifically talked about it in the context of this is something that older kids get to experience.
Yes.
So it was very much that conflict of children, but in this case, the boys there be like, oh, well, I get to do this pretty soon, or
Yeah.
you know, if I'm old enough, I can go and experience this,
And that's where
the
directly
changes.
the Die Hard reference comes from.
Yes.
Is because you can tell then he only knew him from that one scene.
Yes,
Right.
because
So
that's
he would
all,
have seen him somehow.
he's only in Vents.
He's only in Vents. You know, do you live in here?
Yes.
So, and that for me was the funniest part of the movie.
Yeah, that was
The Bruce Willis cameo in that movie was the
Because
thing
it
I was
happened-
laughing the most.
Well, yeah, when he showed up in the vent was fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh
So-
yeah, I agree. Well, and so on the other side of it, all of the quote unquote girl Lego, it made me kind of nostalgic for my own childhood because you can see the play that happens with girls. You saw the neighborhoods, you saw the family, the city life that was so, I don't know, kind of that fairy tale. Like
Yeah.
everything sparkled and glittered and everything was beautiful. And you have to make people marry each other.
Yeah.
That's what you did as a young kid and a young girl. And that's how I played. You
Yeah.
always planned weddings. My Barbies were constantly getting married, like all the time.
Yeah.
And, you know, who wouldn't love sparkles and hair redos and makeovers and everything like that, right? So I thought that was funny because I
Yeah.
could see then nostalgia from my childhood
Yeah.
on things, right? So they did a good job of bringing that in through the characters.
Yeah. One thing I also found interesting just now that we're talking about it more, the realization that was a very small cast because
You're right.
it really focuses on Emmett
Yes.
and Rex, and being that Chris Pratt voices both of them and Pratt's channeling a young Kurt Russell
Very much so.
for Rex, but the realization of how much more all the other characters had to do in the first one and how many more sub characters and more subplot and blah 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 blah, and then that realization that really
very simple
it was
story.
like, did they blow all their money on Pratt because they had him do double duty and they were like, we can't afford anybody else?
So it's just Elizabeth Banks and Pratt, and we're good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. We had Tiffany Haddish
Yeah.
was
Queen
was a new character.
whatever
Yeah, literally. Whatever
I
a
wanna be.
Nawabi.
Yeah.
I thought that was an awesome name for sure. She did a great job. I think that character was really fun. She made me laugh and just smile.
Yeah.
I love
Her songs
in general were awesome. They were
I'm
they were
not
some of my
evil,
favorite.
I promise.
Yeah, unconniving and it was. She's like, this is the worst song ever. This sounds fishy for sure. Wild Style was quite funny, but yeah, you're right. It was very small cast.
Because none of the sub characters from the first one do
Have
anything.
anything to do. They were just just like, I'm here, I'm happy, I'm partying.
Yeah, don't forget that we are still in this movie.
Yes. Oh,
Which is interesting because, like, say, Toy Stories.
Yes.
All the Toy Stories started branching out so
Into the
much
side
that
one.
then Woody and Buzz got underplayed because the other characters did. Where this one, they went the opposite way. They were like, well, yeah, he liked those, but you're not going to get to see them.
Yeah, you're right.
Except for Batman. And even that was really a small part.
Yeah, Batman was the only other one, really.
Yeah.
So,
But the one song I think that was the best was the Gotham City Guys that she sings.
yeah, I'm just not into Gotham City Guys
Yeah.
and all the Easter eggs in that one.
Oh yeah, it's just it's a who's. They mention every single person that's ever live action played Batman.
Yeah. And all these different characters that are important to Batman's life. And we got Selena Kyle and Vicky Vale in there. And yeah, all the live actions. And oh, it's so funny. It was every single moment. I'm like, oh, Mike, did you hear that? Oh, did you hear that? Yeah, I thought that was really well
Yeah,
played.
that was really good.
Is there anything that you didn't really like about it?
How long it took to get into it?
Yeah, that was your main concern.
It took so much to get into it. The ending was a little kind of too neat.
I was
really happy with where the ending was going, and I was like, "Oh crap, they're gonna do that!"
Right?
And then everything was like, "No."
and then it got all drawn out, and it took too long, and it was like, "Well, no, we can't. This is how it really would be good of a plot wise, but the kids would freak out, so we're gonna turn it around this way." My only other thing is, part of the first movie that I loved was that you had no idea that it was real world.
Yes.
You know, it was a fun surprise at the end.
Yes.
But this one, you were constantly reminded that they were toys and
Yes.
it was a real world situation. And, you know, yes, it fits. We don't need that surprise anymore. We knew it was obviously there. But at the same time, there was no suspense for it.
Yeah, it did take me out a few times.
Yeah, it was jarring.
Because it was like
The stairway and the moving between things and the weird,
Well, you saw the actors more too, right?
Yeah, and so it would have been one thing when it matched the first one, where all of a sudden she got thrown out of the play area and you see it. And then it was the same reflection, just her going through it.
Yeah.
But that was one of my issues for it.
Yeah.
It just seemed kind of broken up with that. So
Yeah. It was one of the things where, like, I think it was another one of those ones where I was really, once we decided to go see it, I was really excited to go see it. But then I never felt like I was blown away. Like, I know we're going to buy it. Our son's going to want it.
well, I'm excited to watch it without the breaks in it. So that'll be good.
Like,
maybe it'll help you not feel so dragged out in the beginning, because that's where a lot of the projector broke out. Was in the beginning.
Yeah.
So maybe that'll help you.
But it still just didn't, for myself, it just didn't capture me as much. And I think it's more or less, I'm not the demographic.
That makes sense. It should speak more to me than to you, being a only child, right?
Yeah.
That makes
Well, the two factors, only child and a dude.
There is that too.
Right. It was more of Wild Style's story
Yeah.
than it was Emmett's story, as much as Emmett's in it.
It was Wild Style learning about it, of accepting of other people necessarily. He had to learn
and
how
herself.
to. Yeah, he had to learn how to. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, she accepting of herself and accepting of others. Yeah, you're right. It was a different story. It was definitely Wild Style based. Was learning the lesson more than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As much as it's hidden, it's a hidden.
So I mean,
version of it,
it's interesting because then you think, okay, well, it's a decent kind of layered plot with it for sure. But as you say, you're not the demographic.
Yeah, and that's cool. Hey, you know,
Well, you know what? Our son, we came home right away though, and as much as we didn't know if it would speak to him or not though, he came and immediately went up and played with his Lego.
And he has for a couple of days now.
And it's been out, and he's made a little city, and he has his Emmett and his Lego figure that he has deemed himself now.
Yeah.
And was playing with Lego, and he hasn't played with free Lego for a while actually. So
it did his job.
Did his job of making you want to play with Lego, right?
But he didn't ask for any new sets.
You're right. He didn't. He, because we had looked at them the day before when we were down at Toy Traders, and we'd seen some of the sets. So it was interesting though, because then you watch the movie, you're like, oh, there's that, and there's that, but the sets, I'm a little.
They're a hodgepodge.
We were worried from looking at the Lego sets about the movie because they're just crazy, right?
Well, because it's Lego replicating Duplo.
Yes.
Because you're building Duplo bricks to be able to make the monsters.
Yeah, so
like that.
it's a little overwhelming, but yeah, he never really asked about for any of them.
No.
Really. So I guess it did fail on that aspect.
Yeah, it never sold
because it
anything.
never. I think some of the sets that are there are big sets.
Yes.
So they'd be harder. You're not going to convince me to go buy a $300 set.
Oh wait, you're not going to buy
turn around from that.
Apocalypseburg?
No, and so to him, then it was really what was the point of it then? What does he need? Because honestly, he could play and do all that with all the bricks that we have.
Mm-hmm.
I have Friends Lego. I have all that stuff. We have basic bricks. The Queen was just basic bricks. Mm-hmm. It's just a different color of them.
Yeah.
I think he liked it though.
Yeah, he did.
He seemed like he did.
he was happy.
Yeah, and that's always a good sign for sure.
So that's what's good. It's definitely something to check out if you like the other ones.
Yeah, it's still fun.
But it is a different feel to the story for sure.
Yeah.
And with that, we've hit the end of another cup of rad. But there's always a Canadian truth. That's right, just for you, Adam. Another mind-tingling, spine-tingling.
Everything's tingling.
Oh, hello. Canadian truth. We don't use bulls in rodeos. We use moose. That's the truth. So if you watch the Calgary Stampede, you will see them riding moose. So, Canadian truth. It's been another Canadian truth. And with that,
that was fantastic.
I'll leave you with that image because there's not much more you can think about it as a man riding a moose. And you can take it whatever way you want.
Yeah, it's good.
Whichever way they want to ride the moose. I'm sure it happens in different parts of the country.
Oh, we just went way down to the gutter with that one.
You can't have a cup of rad without
in the gutter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. We can't.
No.
Okay.
No.
Excellent. So yeah, it's a nice, short but sweet. Another brick in the wall. All about the Lego.
All about the Lego movies. So hopefully you all enjoyed. Hopefully you have something in your cup that's full of radness.
Colorful bricks. Go build Lego because Lego's awesome.
Yeah, there you go.
Woo! I have a couple Lego sets that I need to go build that I hang on to forever.
Tron.
Mike's gonna rewrap it for my birthday.
Yeah, I think that's what I'll do.
Yeah. Be like, by the way, you have new Lego. So yeah. Anyways, maybe I'll finally build my sets and I can talk about it.
Right? There you go.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Have a great day.
Thank you for listening. Love this episode of Cup of Rad? Please subscribe, rate us, and give us a review. Also, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more rad content.